Story 1. Asking someone out for the first date. I understand that anxiety or being scared of misinterpreting hints can be challenging for guys, so I do not mind making the first move and simply asking instead of trying to assume anything either way. Story 2. That it is marriage that causes dead bedrooms. I am still as attracted to my wife as I was 12 years ago. It is kids. Kids cause dead bedrooms, those little obstacles. Story 3. Not sure if this counts, but a lot of people, especially from older generations, see hugs as a purely romantic thing. In reality, it is another basic form of human contact. I have started hugging with female friends recently, and it is, honestly, great. Story 4. Sleeping arrangements. My wife and I almost never sleep in the same bed. Some of that has to do with when our kids wake up in the morning, but it is also just that we both have our own version of flopping and prefer to have our own space. This does not mean we do not enjoy pre-bedtime snuggles or that sort of thing. My parents find it very strange. Story 5. That women should cook and clean. I work fewer hours but get paid slightly more. So I arrive home before my wife and have enough time to prepare dinner and clean everything up. By the time she gets home, we have more time to do whatever we want. Story 6. I am a straight man, and every woman I have ever had a sexual relationship with or seriously dated was older than me. The norm is for the man to be older. Story 7. This sounds insane, but seeing how a lot of relationships around me and on Reddit go, I challenge the idea that your spouse should be anything other than your absolute best friend. They should make you laugh, make you feel good when you are down, be there to listen and understand when things are not going your way, and not sneak around behind your back. They should build you up and want to go on fun adventures with you, and you should both be putting in equal effort. Your attraction to your spouse should be built over time on charisma, experiences, highs and lows, not through physical attraction. You should be mature enough to think, oh wow, this person is beautiful, but our personalities do not align, and walk away. You should also be mature enough to think, wow, this person maybe is not my type physically, but there is not a single thing we do not agree on, and pursue. These things are non-negotiable to me, and as crazy as it seems, you cannot deny that these things are clearly negotiable for some people. Story 8. I think love is something you build with a person over time, not something that just happens at random. Story 9. I sleep in a separate bed. I snore loudly. My previous partner was upset about it until she tried sleeping in the same bed as me. Story 10. I like when women propose to men or when they confess to men. I think their taking the initiative is nice. Story 11. Do not talk about your ex on a date. No, I say talk about your ex as much as you like. If you are still clearly besotted with them, that is useful for me to know. If I can expect him to still be hanging around, that is useful for me to know. If you are saying all of your exes are crazy and that you are a saint, that is valuable information of a kind. Also, imagine your date is telling you one of the two things below. My ex used to control me and push me around. For years, he did not work and he maxed out our credit cards. I lost count of the number of times he hit me and even put me in the hospital before I left him. Versus, my ex raised his hand to me once. It was the first and last time. I have zero tolerance for that behavior, so when he came in drunk later that night, I had already packed and left. Sure, he owed me $50 for something he bought using my money, but the way I see it, it was worth it to be rid of him. In both scenarios, your date is not only telling you about her ex, she is also telling you about herself. Story 12. The idea that there is a soul mate or the one. You find someone you respect and enjoy being around, and then you make an effort to cultivate the relationship. Story 13. Being together all the time. I firmly believe couples should spend a lot of time apart so as to not lose or to nurture the natural attraction that brought the couple together in the first place. I have been going on 10 years like that. Kings and queens slept in separate beds or the whole castle apart for a good reason. Story 14. I do not understand why, in an equal society, women still sit around waiting for men to propose. It feels performative and sometimes misogynistic. Additionally, I find it interesting that this is being interpreted by some as a condemnation of men, when that is not at all what was meant. I was challenging women to take more agency over their own lives. Story 15. I'm willing to share this on the internet. I have a story. I was at the grocery store shopping. I was so close to the bus that I could see it stopped, and I wasn't too far away. The driver did not wait. I was at the stop expressing my frustration in 5-degree weather when a very cute girl from the fast food restaurant next to the store walked up. I made a remark about that and mentioned how she missed it too. We laughed and talked for about 30 minutes about silly things and laughed even more. She wanted to sit together on the bus and was worried more than once that we wouldn't see each other again. So, I gave her my number, and she texted me so I would have hers. Now I have a date whenever I can get a hold of her. I thought I was being foolish, but maybe not. Story 16. That surprise grand gestures are somehow better than just asking ahead of time, like in the movies. I am the type of person who loves surprises, but not every romantic gesture needs to be a big surprise spectacle. My husband gave me a heads up when he was going to propose so I could pick out a ring I would love and so I could wear my favorite outfit on the date. He still gets me small surprises like snacks and things, but for expensive or time-consuming items, he always checks for my input first, which I really appreciate. Story 17. You have to do every single thing with your spouse, including having all the same friends. I am my own person. I need my own space and people. Story 18. It is not cute when a boy teases or makes fun of a girl he allegedly likes. This is not a healthy behavior. Nor is it charming when a guy is so attracted to or in love with a girl that he is obsessed with her. This is a dangerous narrative. I make sure to educate my children to be aware of these issues. Story 19. Not me, but I knew a man who was married for 20 years, had an affair for over 2 years, and still gave his wife a Valentine's Day card during that time as though everything was fine and he still loved her. He didn't see how messed up and deceptive that was and kept saying it was just routine. So I guess that challenges some kind of romantic norm. Story 20. If it is meant to be, it should be easy. Sets people up for failure. Relationships need effort, compromise, communication, and work. If everything is too effortless, someone is ignoring their needs. Real love is about working through issues together. Story 21. That things like friends with benefits, one-night stands, or short-term relationships can't be meaningful or are somehow base and immature and only bad or damaged people do them. Yes, they are not going to have meaning in a sense of building a life with someone or helping each other to be the best version of ourselves or whatever things people present as mature, but there is a value in just fooling around with someone or getting to know someone in an emotional way without the baggage of maturity and responsibilities. The only thing is that they need to be communicated properly so one party doesn't get hurt. Story 22. Separate blankets at night. I sleep fitfully, and he dislikes too much cuddling. Sleeping on the couch is never a punishment. I never understood that. However, sometimes it is used as an escape or self-quarantine if one of us is sick. Valentine's Day has never been a thing for us, even after 8 years. Gaming together is a date, and we enjoy each other's company, whether we are gaming or hanging out with others. Additionally, our finances are combined but separate. We are open about what we have, what debts we carry, and we send money without question as needed. We are in the process of getting joint accounts, but it has never been an issue, even from the very early days of our relationship. Story 23. The man should chase the girl. No, if a girl wants to be desired but does not show interest, I am out. I am not looking for a prize. I am looking for someone interested in me. Story 24. As the man, I find that I much prefer when my wife initiates intimacy. Such a turn-on when she says she wants me now. Story 25. Asking to date someone without actually getting to know them. I hate that it is so normalized. And also, casual hookups. Why would you do something so intimate with someone you do not know? Story 26. I am going to go against the grain on this one and probably receive a lot of criticism for this, but I have not achieved much success by challenging the romantic norms. I am a man, and as unfortunate as it sounds, I achieve the most success by sticking with the norms. It may work in long-term relationships, but trying to mix things up when you barely even know the person is just a recipe for disaster. Story 27. That Valentine's Day has to be about romantic dinners, dates, overpriced flowers, overpriced chocolate, jewelry, gifts, and cards. For the past 5 years, it has been a regular day for us, with the exception that he will make an extravagant meal. I don't need overpriced flowers. These are regular bouquets that stores increase the price of because they put a heart pick in the middle and change the clear cellophane to pink or red, and they die quickly. Jewelry? Really? Come on. Chocolate? So because Lindt, Russell Stover, Ghirardelli, and others put their products in a heart-shaped box, you have to pay $3 more? Give me a regular Snickers or Nestle Crunch over that any day. Cards? Oh, thank you for spending $8 on a card you just signed your name on. We don't care about any of that. We're happy staying home, doing what we do, and I say thank you for the mini rose plant you bought me 7 years ago that keeps getting bigger. We spend an hour trying to pick a movie, play video games while trying to decide, and everything remains the same. Do you really have to spend a lot of money to be romantic? Story 28. I bought our engagement and wedding rings when we were talking about maybe getting married, and my husband took my last name. I also pay for most of our dates since he pays most of the bills, but people only see that first part when we go out. Story 29. I'm not sure if this qualifies, but my ex-wife and I have been separated or divorced for 8 years now. We have a functioning, non-romantic, generally friendly relationship. I no longer live in the house, but she lives there, and we have both made at least $100,000 in equity by not selling the place in 2016. As part of that, we work together on major house projects. We are about to fund the termite inspection and repairs, for example. So yes, you don't have to be ragingly angry about your ex. You can just be normal. Story 30. I challenge heteronormative milestones and communication expectations. Growing up with gay mothers and seeing unconventional relationships thrive showed me that happiness comes from mutual acceptance, not rigid norms. While I am a woman who primarily dates men and aligns with some traditions, I advocate for defining relationships on your own terms, which has definitely thrown some partners off. Story 31. Whoever's idea it is for the date should pay, including the first date. There is no way I am paying for your meal when this was your idea and I am not enjoying the night. Splitting the bill is perfectly fine. Story 32. I always approach men first in person, never really take the passive role and wait. If you are attractive, I will tell you. Story 33. They say to avoid uncomfortable topics on the first date, such as politics, finances, and religion. But I would honestly always discuss those things on a first date if I got the feeling there might be a second date. I think a big reason my fiancé and I's relationship works out so well is because we laid it all out on the table on the first date and started things with pure honesty. None of that tiptoeing, trying to paint yourself in a certain light. Story 34. A lot of them. You can only love one person. False. It's sad not to have a partner. False. Romantic partners have to do the escalator thing and eventually live together and get married. False. You can have any relationship structure that works for you and your partner. You are not required to live in the same dwelling. You can have exclusivity without commitment. Don't make me laugh. Romantic relationships are the most important type of relationship. False. Friends and family may be more important relationships for some people. Story 35. That men are expected to buy Valentine's Day gifts and flowers. Valentine's Day is for couples and for lovers, not just about the woman. Story 36. That Valentine's Day is only for women. I'm not a big celebrator of it, but it's definitely for the couples and not just women. So we are going to do something as a couple, not just me doing something for you. Story 37. Let the man always pay the bill. If my girlfriend wants to treat me, why should I refuse a free meal? Story 38. Giving flowers to men. When my fiancé and I first met, he always said that he never understood why men couldn't receive flowers. He also mentioned that he always wished he would be given flowers because he loves them. Now I have saved my favorite local florist in my phone, and he receives flowers delivered semi-regularly. The surprising part? He has had many jealous male coworkers eyeing his flowers whenever I send a bouquet. Forget gender norms. Everyone likes flowers. Story 39. Affectionate nicknames, like commonplace ones. Things like, babe. My partner calls me a Reddit moderator, and I'm like sarcastically, A Reddit moderator in the making. I don't like nicknames that are commonplace or overly affectionate ones. I'm aromantic and bisexual. Story 40. As a man, I try to avoid the old-fashioned thought that a man should be in charge or in control of things. I have dated a couple of women who believed that a man should make almost all of the decisions, and I am not comfortable with that at all. If we are a couple, then I want us to discuss and agree on whatever it is we are doing. I do not want to be the default dictator of things. We should be equal partners rather than one person taking over. There are many things my partner knows more about than I do, and I know her opinion carries more weight than mine, so it makes sense for me to defer to her, and I have no problem with that. Story 41. Planning the dates. I am gay, but I am the more masculine partner in the relationship, so it's often believed that I should plan and organize dates for my partner and me. However, I also work as a chef, often working late hours. Some nights, I am not home until 2 in the morning. Therefore, I do not normally have the time to sit down and plan the dates. However, my partner, who I am so happy to have, will take the reins and plan the dates. I think a lot of straight men could benefit from this as well. It's very nice to have that pressure and responsibility taken off your shoulders. Please talk with your partners if you find it exhausting to plan the dates all the time. Story 42. My husband and I keep our money separate. We both work and contribute proportionally to our income and cover expenses when the other is unemployed. We met a bit older when we were both established, and it makes sense for us. However, apparently that is quite unusual for most married couples. Even less common, we did not live together before we were married, and we are not religious. Story 43. I possess the ability to be totally charming, calm, and neutral until women ask, "Do you want to go intimate in the closet or something?" I genuinely appreciate women as individuals, but I also enjoy being intimate in the closet. Story 44. Not sure if this counts, but the use of the word honey to refer to my wife is interesting. I have nothing against pet names. She and I use a lot of them. However, I would wager a modest amount of money that the majority of people who call a significant other honey do so because it is something they picked up from television or movies, not because that is the word that moves them the most. Story 45. Just talking about real feelings. Arguments are okay sometimes, and in fact, they are necessary to clear the air. I often feel like things are much better afterwards. Oh, and passing gas in front of each other is fine. Story 46. Expecting a big celebration on my birthday. Plan, shop, cook, and clean up for one meal. A heartfelt note, a visit to a local museum, or a lovely walk or hike. Time together, doing something special for someone, is so much better than material things. Story 47. The idea that love should always be effortless. Real relationships take work, communication, and growth. Romance is not just about grand gestures, but about showing up consistently. Story 48. You have to include your significant other in everything. You are an individual first and foremost. Your partner should respect that boundary. It does change the dynamic when I bring my girlfriend around on a friend's trip all the time. Sometimes you just want to reconnect with your childhood friends without worrying if your girlfriend is having fun, is comfortable, or likes the food. I am all for including my partner, but at my own pace. Story 49. It is not necessary to be together all the time. It is okay to be in love and to spend time with friends. Story 50. Roses. Just know, they are so overladen with advertising and the wrong symbolism. I buy my wife sunflowers. It is our flower. So much better. I do grow her roses, though. Story 51. Most of it, I do not like physical touch unless I am truly close to the person. I can never take a hint and I am too shy to talk to people, so basically all of it. On top of that, I cannot say I love you either. Story 52. Flowers. Hey, here is some dead organic waste. It looks cute, though, but you better take a picture of it because it won't last. Story 53. I am a woman and I do not like perfumes, flowers, or chocolates. I would much prefer a chat, a cup of tea, and a sandwich, or to be gifted a book, etc. Story 54. I think flowers and other gifts should be a surprise, not something expected. They are given to you because the giver is thinking of you. Story 55. I think it is a green flag when people are friends with their exes. I do not mean if they are still in love with each other or keeping each other around just in case, but genuine friendship between people who dated shows differentiation and emotional maturity because it is hard to do and the feelings are hard to navigate. Being able to do all that healthily with a good outcome? Yes. Story 56. I challenge the idea that love has to follow a specific timeline or set of rules. Every relationship is unique, and what works for one couple might not work for another. Love should be built on mutual understanding, not societal expectations. Story 57. Marriage is seen as the end goal by many. However, I do not really believe in marriage for myself. I don't believe in being tied to someone for life. It feels unnatural to me. I do not mind if others want that. I just do not. Ideally, I would prefer to be with someone but live separately. I choose to stay single because it is easier than finding someone who does not want to live together or get married. Additionally, I am infertile, so having children is not an option. Story 58. No qualms about making the first move. Not for any profound reason. I am just that type of person. If I want something, I will try to get it. Story 59. The idea that you should not love anyone else and should not be able to talk about it with your partner. You are expected to be jealous of your partner having feelings for someone else, but I have found that being able to talk openly about feelings for someone else is incredibly freeing. This does not mean the other person has to let you date them too or anything, but at the very least you are allowed to have those feelings, and your partner should accept that and trust that you will not go over their boundaries because you have feelings for someone else. Story 60. My boyfriend and I split the costs of things as evenly as we can. I told him directly on our second date that there was no need for him to pay for everything all the time, that I wanted to pay for some items, and that this notion that men should bear the entire burden of the expenses while dating someone was just silly. Story 61. The one that I wish I could challenge is to ask complete strangers out. Could be good, but I can't shake off the fact that it is also creepy. Story 62. The money issue. I offer to pay for many things even though I am the woman. It is not a man's responsibility to pay for everything. It is a team effort. Story 63. I sleep in a separate bed. I snore loudly. My previous partner was upset about it until she tried sleeping in the same bed as me. Story 64. Spanking a friend became quite a normal thing. It doesn't really matter if it is a guy or a girl. It is just fun, and many jokes are made along the way. Story 65. I am a ball of anxiety all the time and could not survive on my own. It is one thing to be able to kill a bear better, but in modern times, where our own minds are often our biggest threats, men are no better protectors. And because society cannot differentiate physical fear from mental fear, we have no support for it. Story 66. You mean like slugging Cupid? She broke my heart. You jerk. That arrow wound is going to scar. You need to grow up and put on some clothes. You're wearing a bed sheet. Story 67. My partner and I shower separately most of the time. We don't really act like a couple, to be honest. We only cuddle when we go to sleep, and we don't really do anything else that would imply we're a couple. We don't even have intimacy much. It feels like that aspect of our relationship is non-existent. We might as well be best friends or roommates who kiss each other sometimes. But we are married. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.